What is going on, YouTube? Hopefully, I am live and the microphone is working. Sorry, I'm a little bit late, but had to get set up. Of course, as you can see, conspicuous by his absence, Big Nige will not join us tonight. So this will be a shorter, more concise episode. It's just going to be me, CW. So I'm not going to put you guys to sleep. I'm going to go through the topics fairly quickly, and then we're going to move on to later in this week. We'll try to get something together where either Big Nine hits you with something. I have a topic that I might hit you with. So we're going to, that's going to be the rest of this week for us. We do appreciate you guys if you've come to the channel and been a part of any of our polls. If you've liked, if you commented, we appreciate all that you have done. Thank you for helping us grow. We're almost at that 100 sub goal and can't do it without you guys. So if you want us to get to that 100, you can help us out and go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit a like button. It helps the channel. It just helps us grow. And we're just trying to get to that next level so we can continue to give you our views on the NBA. You know, I'm always right. So this was going to be short because, but either way, yeah, we hope Big Nine's back soon. He's got real life things going on that he's got to take care of. And of course, that's life. We do this as a hobby. So when life is life, and you gotta do what you gotta do. But what a day for men's Olympic basketball. We saw the quarterfinals, and they did not disappoint. Some of them did, but most of them didn't. Let's start out here in our country, Team USA. Put up a poll earlier. I believe 15 people responded to it. 100% says Team USA is going to win, and absolutely Team USA won. No issues with Brazil. It was just like a layup line out there. Everybody on Team USA scored, so it was not like there was no drama, or there was no we got to work hard to get this one. It was just straight up buckets and just solid defense. LeBron James came out and played some good defense, and just everybody seemed locked in. I guess they know these are the knockout rounds. These are the ones that really truly count, even though every game counts. But these are the ones that you can't have a night off. You can't have one person slip up. But Team USA is a team built where you can have one person have a bad night, and you've got three others that can fill that same position. So there was no doubt who was going to win. Final score was 122-87. Yes, an absolute demolition derby out there. Brazil tried. The guy, he plays in the NBA, Cabo. I'm not going to butcher his name, but he had 30 for Brazil. But everybody else just tried their hardest, but it was just an uphill battle to play a team like Team USA. Once again, 122-87. Devin Booker led the way with 18. Team USA moves on to the quarterfinals. And yeah, it was what it was. There was nothing to really, that was a game that you needed to watch start to finish. You pretty much knew the results after the first quarter, but Team USA advances to the semifinals. Another team that advances to the finals is a team that has been playing really, really well so far in the Olympic Games. They played well in the pool play, and they've played well in the quarterfinals. Germany advances over Greece. Giannis just didn't have enough. I believe he had 22 points. Wasn't enough to get Team Greece to the semifinals. Franz Wagner and Dennis Schroeder were the two main scorers for that team. They're pretty much the main scorers for the most part. They didn't have a ton of trouble with Greece, and that was to be expected. As great as Giannis is, his Greece team just isn't built for this. Unfortunately, they need a little bit more, and no Thanasis, you're done for. But yeah, no more Thanasis hate. But anyway, Team Germany wins. They move on to the semifinals as well. Who they will play is the next team we're going to talk about. And what to me was a huge, major upset because France has been playing like dog water out there. I mean, you've had Victor Wembanyama, Rookie of the Year, maybe next in the NBA, playing just like I don't know. And then the rotation for the France team just to me didn't make any sense. You've got a solid nucleus of players that have played together for a while. Rudy Gobert, Defensive Player of the Year. Nick Batum, solid defender and solid player, even at his advanced age of, I believe he's 35, but he's a good player. Evan Fournier, you have Frank Nalinka. You have all these players, and the chemistry just didn't seem there the first most of their games. But against Canada, they got up big early, and it wasn't Wemby. It wasn't Wemby. Rudy Gobert. I don't even think he started. He wasn't a big factor for them, but it was Gershon Yabusele, who a fellow Celtic, who lit it up. 22 points. Wemby did contribute 7 and 12, but on a night that Wemby wasn't really the star offensively, France got it done against a very talented Canada team. And I mean, SGA showed up. He had 27, but his cohorts were not as effective as they were in earlier play. And this was where he needed those guys. He needed Dylan Brooks. He needed RJ Barrett. He needed Kelly Olynyk. All these guys, he needed them to really show up. And it was just not a good night for Canada. They lose. That's the unfortunate thing about the knockout rounds is you only got one game to lose. One of your players. You see what I just said about Team USA, they had the luxury of they have so many great players. If one or two, they can have two guys have bad nights, and most likely they'll still have enough to beat you. Whereas these other teams don't have that luxury. They've got to get it done with their nucleus. If they can't, it's lights out. France was the outlier here because they didn't get a good game from one of their main players in Victor Wembanyama, but were still able to move on to the semifinal. So France upsets Canada and goes on to face Germany. So that's going to be a pretty good matchup. I still favor Germany, but we'll get into that later. And to the game of the evening or the morning. This was the game I watched this morning. I came into work. It was on. I hadn't even put together. I didn't even check the times of the games today, but that was on. And I was like, okay. And Australia was smacking Serbia. I was like, this game is over. They were up by over 20 points. So I was like, this game is over. And I turned my head, was working, doing my things on my computer, looked back. Serbia's chipping away, chipping away. Then came the fourth quarter. Serbia's up. And then it became a nip tuck kind of game where Serbia would go up a little bit. Australia would keep it close. We saw Defensive Player of the Year Nikola Jokic come out because he defended Patty Mills, who was absolutely wrecking Serbia in the first half and some in the second. And he was also the guy that tied the game to go into overtime. Of course, as it says, Serbia survives because they had to go to overtime thanks to a huge bucket by Patty Mills over Nikola Jokic. But we just got to look at the reigning MVP, three-time MVP, putting up numbers 21, 14, 8, and 4. The 4 were 4 steals, 8 assists, 14 rebounds, 21 points. So he got it done. But for Australia, Patty Mills wasn't alone. He had 26. Josh Giddey, who was limping and kind of banged up at the end of the game, chipped in 25, was phenomenal for them. Every time they needed a big basket, Josh Giddey was there to put it up and make it. Jock Landale, former Spur, was solid for them. He was, he had some unfortunate fouls towards the end of the game that kind of affected how the game ended or how the game flowed towards the end, but was really big for the first for really the whole game. He just had some untimely fouls, some untimely calls that went against Australia, Serbia. They were able to capitalize on those, made some big baskets. Jokic with a big mid-range jumper to put them fully ahead in OT in overtime. And then from there, it was game over. Serbia will go on to the semifinals. So that brings me to my picks for the semifinals, which will pit France and Germany, and then we'll get Team USA versus Serbia. I'm going to start with Team USA. We've beaten Serbia twice by, I think, 20, around average of 20 points. That's not going to change. I don't think there's anything Serbia does that's going to really hurt Team USA. I think Team USA got the perfect matchup with Serbia in the semifinals. They'll go on to the finals, and it just depends on who their matchup is. Germany and France could be good if Victor shows up, if Rudy Gobert plays like Defensive Player of the Year, if Yabusele plays well, Consier, I think that's his name, he showed up tonight or today. Evan Fournier, all these guys, if they come out there guns blazing, Germany is there for the taking. But Franz Wagner has been phenomenal throughout these Olympic Games, and Dennis Schroeder's a player that is fairly consistent. He's a pest. He can get to the basket. He's built for FIBA basketball, so I think it's going to be interesting once those guys play each other. I'm not sure. I think it's on the 8th, so I think we don't play. No games are tomorrow, but there will be games on Thursday. And then we'll find out who will be going to the gold medal games. If I'm picking Team USA and Germany. France is just so hit and miss, even though they've actually come through so far in the knockout rounds. Well, this is the only game so far in the knockout rounds, but they showed up big time against a tough Canada team. And if they can play that style of game, they got home court advantage, so they might get some home cooking. But this is the Olympics. This is FIBA basketball, so you usually don't fall into that trap of referees, favoring one team. You just might start getting the momentum swinging and guys getting a little bit reckless on the court and maybe drawing some fouls or committing fouls that they probably shouldn't because the crowd is going crazy for the other team. So they might get a little bit of that to help them out against, say, Germany. But I just don't see France being able to take the measured attack of Germany. I think Germany has too many weapons that France, I'm not sure if they'll take advantage of those guys. And we just need a Victor sighting. If we can get a Victor sighting Thursday, then we very well could see France, the home team, the home country, against Team USA, which would be epic if you ask me. But they've got to get it done, and they're going to have a tough task against Germany. So let me know in the comment section. Let me know who you guys think will be in the gold medal game come, I don't know if it's probably this weekend, probably Saturday, Sunday. Will it be Team USA? Will it be Germany? Will it be France? Or will it be Serbia? Who will be there when it's all said and done? When the dust settles, who's going to be in that gold medal game? And ultimately, who will walk away with the gold medal? Who will get their national anthem played and have the gold draped over their necks? So we will see. So sticking with Europe, where the 2024 Olympics are being played, earlier this week, Adam Silver had some interesting comments where he said that he's having some meetings and some conversation with FIBA about expanding the NBA into the European market, whether it be an annual, I don't know if it's a tournament, but an annual exhibition or annual World Cup, something of that nature. And he also discussed maybe a league, not a Euro league, but something to kind of counter the EuroLeague for an NBA European team. Now, Adam Silver, I'm not the biggest Adam Silver fan. He's not David Stern. David Stern was about the business of the NBA. Adam Silver seems very player driven, and he's trying to please the players, which they're the ones that do draw the eyeballs. They're the ones that bring in the money. But at the same time, you've got to treat this as a business, and you sometimes you're going to have to ruffle some feathers on the player side to get results on the business side. We saw that David Stern was heavy into that. We remember he created that whole dress code and things of that nature when he needed to reel everybody in and not give them so much of a leash that it started to make the business look not as professional as he wanted it to look. So I'm not sure about Adam Silver and that on that side, but as far as his creativity, I think he's very open to doing things a little differently and adding things and adding interest. I don't have the numbers here and I haven't looked them up, but it's evident that ratings are not what they used to be for the NBA. You can attribute that to just people not watching a lot of cable, people cutting cords, people just busier, people with short attention spans. NBA games are long, and I think Big Nine might do this, but they might need to look at FIBA rules where the games are a little bit shorter, but they're long for a reason. They have to have those TV timeouts to get those ads in. They have to have, they want to get in as much as they can to get that ad money, and that's the big thing. That's the money market right there. So they need something, and we've seen them institute now the play-in tournament. As far as the regular season, we've seen them do the in-season tournament this past season. Was I a big fan? Not necessarily, but it wasn't terrible. Hated those courts, but he's tried to do things that will draw some interest back into the NBA. And I think that doing these little extra things will help and draw interest. They have to have some type of meeting. They have to have something that will keep eyeballs there and keep people wanting to come back. So I don't know if a World Cup or a World Championship or Team Europe versus America or whatever he's trying to cook up as far as an annual event in Europe. I'm not sure how that's going to work. And as far as a league, I think you look at, they did that league in Africa with, I think J. Cole played for it. It was an NBA affiliate league. They could do that, but how beneficial, how profitable is something like that? I don't know if that would be the way to go. And then you have to think about some of those European players that, of course, they'll probably bigger incentives to play for the NBA. You're going to want to get that huge NBA check. But for guys like Nikola Jokic, who are very, very loyal to their country, would he rather skip the NBA season and play in this new affiliate league and make his money off court, maybe makes through sponsorships, through whatever else he has going on in the Serbia, would he want to do that instead of having to travel and spend extended time in the U.S. when he could just? And plus, you got to look at it. The NBA season is pretty long, from October to June. It's in October, so it's mostly November to June and early June. So it's about 7 months. So I'm not sure, is this going to be a summer kind of league that will coincide with the WNBA? You don't want to cut into their viewership. If you want to make it just solely a European league, let me stop saying Euro League, but a European league where it's only pretty much televised and advertised and marketed in Europe, then I think you lose some dollars because the U.S. market is a big basketball money market, and they probably want to see the product. So, do you offer that during that time? Do you, I'm sure he said it's early, and if there was any kind of European expansion, it would be some time before it's not going to happen next season. They're not going to lay the foundation next season. The foundation is going to start being laid in the next few years, and then they're going to flesh it out to what kind of European expansion they're going to do. So I think it's a good idea. I always think when you're thinking outside the box and thinking of how to expand the game, how to get the game to more eyeballs, how to get the game to more outlets, it's always a good thing. But will it put eyeballs back on the game? I think that's hard to do right now because there is a play style that just isn't working. Is not appealing. And I just think there needs to be some changes. Maybe that'll come. Maybe him talking with FIBA. Maybe they're going to try to incorporate more FIBA um, rules and aspects to the game. Maybe they'll look at how well the these Olympic games, these Olympic basketball international games are doing as far as ratings wise, as far as viewership wise, and saying, you know what, if a lot of people are watching this and enjoying it and watching it from, jump ball all the way to the closing horn, then maybe we need to incorporate some of that. Maybe we need to shorten the game a little bit. Maybe we need to put some of these aspects, some of these maybe, less in the court, maybe not make it so wide. So you got to they'll have to look at this and see how they can incorporate things going forward. I'm sure they'll try. I'm enjoying the Olympic Games so far. They're pretty interesting. It's I'm not going to say it's as exciting as the NBA. You don't see as much highlight reel activity, but it's a lot more team oriented, which I think is much needed in the NBA. It's more there's a lot of fundamental aspects to it, and some of the FIBA rules make scoring tougher, make it more interesting. The way you can knock the ball off the rim without it being, you know, basket interference. The way there's there's a fewer timeouts. There's, the shot clock is the same, but the game is more. It feels like it's sped up because everything is more compact. The court is smaller, the paint is smaller, so and there's no defensive 3 seconds. So the games are a little tougher. It's a little harder to get in there and score. So you got to have some shooting. You got to have a well balanced team where you can't just have snipers out there and just think you're going to just run over these teams. And you can't just have athletic wings and athletic bigs, to just overwhelm them and just run and gun it. You got to have some type of team structure, and I think that's what the NBA is sorely missing. And I think that's what they can learn from international play that can help them going forward. We miss those days of the 80s and 90s where teams were teams and everybody had a role and everybody needed to do that specific role and everybody was important on the team. Whereas now you only have 2 or 3 guys that take shots and then everybody else can stay in the corner. And if need be, you'll get the ball and be able to shoot. But that's neither here nor there. So, like I said, it's a quick little episode. Team USA blows up Brazil, Germany over Greece, France over Canada, and Serbia survives Australia. We're on to the semis. Team USA versus Serbia, Germany versus France. Who you got? Let us know in the comment section. And who you think has been playing the best? Joel Embiid has finally decided to show up. He's playing pretty good. LeBron's been great. I also have some things I'm going to say about LeBron because I think I'm not going to say what I think, but I'm going to save that for a video, which I think some of y'all will be interested to hear. So once again, we thank you guys. We're enjoying all the feedback, all the likes, all the comments, everything you guys do for us. We really do appreciate it. Like I said, Big Nige has some things going on. Couldn't be here tonight, but he will be back next week. or later this week, he might have dropped his own little video and give y'all some tidbits on his opinions on some things going on in basketball. So we do, once again, we appreciate you guys. And if you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. Only helps us, doesn't hurt us. If you didn't like it, I understand. It's usually a 2-man unit. I'm here by myself, so I was just trying to do this so that we would satisfy those that know we are here every Tuesday, 7:30. We wanted to satisfy that. We didn't want to cancel because we've done that far too often. So we wanted to stay stable and doing these things every week. So I made sure, even if it's just me, old boring me, I decided to come on here and give y'all a little something, little opinions, a lot of great basketball today. And I just didn't want to let it slide and go on until the next time we meet. So once again, thank you guys. We will be back very, very soon with some more content. So we appreciate you. And GoCast Podcast is out. We'll be back soon.